Hello, we have so many work for advocacy of Ukraine this week, and as you see, also it's everyday demonstration near White House on Lafayette Square, so you can also join, and you can find this information on our Ukrainian Society Facebook and website, on my website and LinkedIn and other social media. So please join, because this advocacy work also extremely important for our future and for future of Ukraine and for future of Ukrainian villages. And I also will explain what now happened in my native region, in Kherson, and also in other regions. So firstly, as I explained to you, my father for a long time was also in parliament, and he was governor, and he was strictly against Russia all this period, and in Yanukovych period when he was member of parliament, Yanukovych do extremely big pressure and also physical pressure to his family, and now also because of his political position he in Russian sanction list, so Duma take him to killing list. And of course we continue our work for Ukraine in Kherson region, but I'm explore youth in other video situations about pressure to activists in Kherson, about kidnapping, and this kidnapping hits not only kidnapping of father's colleague like Mr. Gavriluk, like other colleagues, like people who taken part also with me on the last elections and who was very patriotic, but also for every person who go to demonstration and who is opinion leaders. So now they became their political regime, and it's very important to understand that Russian army go to Ukrainian villages, and they take cows, goats, they rob houses, and they do pressure to women and children. So, and it's not so so in media, like for example situation in Bucha, because they haven't access of media because this territory is occupied. And I'm worked for a long time in these villages in Hornostaevsky rayon, Veliko Alexandrivsky rayon, in Novaya Kakhovka, so that's why I know directly people, and I know directly they haven't money for food, they don't wanna take Russian humanitarian aid and so on and so forth. So that's why it's a really critical situation with humanitarian aid, with political pressure to these people in Kherson region, in Kherson villages. And I'm asking you to share all this information about this critical condition in southern region. For Americans it's region, so Crimea, and the next region it's southern region, it's Kherson region, my native region. And it's very important to have conversation about violation of human rights, of women's rights, of children's rights, in Kherson region. Secondly, so they also became like physical political pressure in region, and they're trying to organize their regime in Kherson, maybe to do fake referendum. It's also very important to understand Russian strategy in my native region. It's very important to understand their strategy to take more territories, and for them it's not important how many lives will be. And the next question, it's of course question, is it so big troubles with humanitarian crisis in other regions? Yes, because thank you for all who give humanitarian aid, and thank you for all structures which work with humanitarian aid, but now all humanitarian centers need more cars to share this aid to villages, because problem is that in towns and city we have this humanitarian aid, but to villages, to most poorest people, it's people who have income like $50 a month, not more, $30–50 a month. They really need this humanitarian aid, and they need help of evacuation from these villages, because you see information about raping women, raping child, even from Russian army, and it's not only information from social media or top American press, it's also information of administration of president of Ukraine. So it's official information, it's official cases, which also was started by General Attorney Office. So it's unfortunately true in 21st century, and it's true like other Russian war crimes which they do in Ukraine. So that's why it's very important also to do programs to share this humanitarian aid to villages, to the most far villages from city, and to help with evacuation people, because it's many people who wanted to move to other territories, who wanted to move abroad, and if it's child and women, we must help them and must help protect their health, protect their life. I'm in contact with people who work as psychotherapists, as doctors with this raped woman and child, and it's very critical. So please help, please, or give money, or give direct car to this humanitarian headquarters. You can choose any organization which you trust, and you can do it also by yourself. So please help with these issues and these questions. And also it's very important to do advocacy work in your country. I understand that now it will be holidays, also holidays for Catholic world, but even on these holidays it's very important to understand that people died in this period, and that political pressure and pressure in society will be every time. And as we see on elections in France, that people vote only for their well health, for prices for gas, and of course it's connected with negotiations with Russia. And I understand that Europe can't change their gas buy-in from Russia for one day, because it's technically not so easy, but we must understand that almost $1 billion which give Europe a day to Russia, it's also financing of war. And we see that many people forget on these issues, also on election in France, which we see on results. So it's very important, if you active person, and if you care about children's life, about women's life, about lives of Ukrainian, about human rights, you must share this information, because it's like 2,000 kilometers from you, or 1,000 kilometers, or even less than 1,000 kilometers if we talk about Europe. And now we must fight against authoritarian regime with Putin now provides, and we must wrote in every press, in every post about this human rights violation. It's very important also, please share this information with journalists. And I also add in my previous post a live link, which also is provided and checked video and photo from the main cities of Ukraine. I can also provide to you analytics, directly contact. Here we work in US very hard on advocacy of Ukraine. It's not one-day process, but it's extremely important to help our country, and also to help develop our country, because now economical damage, it's huge. It's on information of Reuters, complex economical damages, it's almost $60 billion to all our economy and all our infrastructure. So of course we must work also on that, and we must do our part of work to create win for democracy against autocracy and against Putin war crimes. Slava Ukraini! Thank you for your help.